Hello YouTube crew, I'm E.
And I'm D.
And we're coming to you from one sister
to another.
First, we would like to thank all of you all who subscribed to our first intro video. We would also like to thank you for viewing that. So today, we would just like to talk to you and, just have a conversation. Several people came back to us asking, what was it really like to be married to a minister and
how many times I was actually married.
We thought that was pretty funny, actually.
Yes.
And we didn't expect the responses we did get, but we are grateful for each and every person's input and what you all thought. We want you all to know that we are doing this not to give an opinion on how you should live your life, but just simply to tell you our views and telling you the truth, our truth. We're just telling our truth, speaking our truth about our life situations, our experiences, what we've been through, and what it took for us to get, through those things. And hopefully what we say can help somebody, can change a life, let you know that you can get through this, you can do it, that life doesn't stop just because you're going through something.
Yeah, so, we're going to start off today. We're going to talk about marriage, marriage, divorce, being married multiple times, going back into the dating life after marriage, or should you really stay in marriages, or like back in the day when grandma and granddaddy was married. Like my grandparents were married like over 50 years,
and my grandparents didn't marry at all.
Yeah, so it's just, the questions are, do you stay in a marriage if your spouse cheat? Like if you was in a situation and they cheated, do you think it's healthy to stay in a marriage if somebody cheat on you?
I think dynamics are different. Like I told you guys in our first intro video, we are no specialists. We're only telling you our truth.
Right.
I was in a relationship that led into a marriage. I've had a son outside of wedlock, actually, first. And it wasn't the minister's child. And so getting with a minister who was willing to take on the responsibility of someone else's child, we can even talk about that, blended families.
So how was that though? How was it like, okay, so you had a son in the beginning and you meet a pastor, right? Yeah. So, when you initially start dating the pastor, did you think it would be different than like the previous relationship you was in? Or did you look at the title, right? Did you think, oh, I'm gonna get married to a pastor and I won't be able to do this or do that? What's your truth about this? Tell me, do tell.
Okay, so in order for me to tell you a little bit about that, I have to tell you a little something about me. Nothing that she doesn't already know, so I'm telling you guys what this is really all about.
Okay.
I was that young lady, I loved the thug, okay? I liked the guy, who had a little bit of hardness to him, a little bit of street, I came from, was raised in the projects, and so I saw my big brother, he was this hardcore guy. And so when I met the minister, I was actually already pregnant with a thug's baby, right?
Oh, that's incredible.
And so I figured when I met him and went on a date with him, I was going to do something different, something I'd never done before, choose somebody I wouldn't normally choose. And my reality was that I used to always pray to God, whatever you do not bless me with a minister, do not bless me with a police officer, and Lord, please don't bless me with a military man, because I wasn't ready to leave my family. So when I met this guy, no, I was not interested in ministers. No, they were not the first person I would have looked at. As a matter of fact, they were the very, very last. So when he asked me out, it kind of threw me for a loop. I never thought they even looked at me, to be honest.
Wow.
Because I always saw myself as this street, girl. I was like LL Cool J's Round the Way girl. I was, just down to earth, easy to get along with. I loved God, but I wasn't ready to submit my life to God.
So let me ask, so did he approach you first or you approached him?
He actually called the youth pastor at my church, youth minister, and asked him for my number so we could go to our first date, Shirley Caesar concert.
Oh, wow.
Which was the bomb, of course. Okay. Go Shirley.
Okay.
And And I found out I was pregnant, which I knew it wasn't the ministers because we'd only been dating for 2 months, and I found out I was pregnant, but I had already been broken up with my son's father for about a month. And so I broke things off with the minister because I didn't want people looking at him as if he had done something wrong. So you guys wanted to know what it was like to be married to a minister. And it's no different from being married to a regular person because that's exactly what he is. Regular person. And if we look at him that way, and if we see ministers as men and as women, maybe we won't be so apt to pass judgment. So being married to a minister, he was just a man who was dealing with life the same way I was, and we got together and we divorced and he remarried. And so we're both just living our lives, in different places. We were at a different place in our lives as young people, and that's just where we are today. But I did get beautiful children from it, and we are friends today. So what else could I ask God for there, right?
That's the great part about it, to be able to divorce and still be friends with your ex.
I can't lie, it wasn't always like that. I mean, hey, that was definitely God. I didn't think we would ever be friends, but praise be.
Yeah, so I think it's amazing though. That's like really good to know that you can divorce and still be friends for the sake, especially if you have kids together, right? To be able to be cordial for one another, for the children.
And for yourselves. It's healthy to have healthy relationships, friendships. Breakups shouldn't mean that you're no longer friends, that you can no longer get along. You have to remember what brought you together. And so in that, sis, I would like to ask you, what was it like to be married multiple times? More than once? And do you get some backflack from people when they find out that you were married more than once?
No, not really. I guess because it's a different day and age, and maybe just my experience, no. However, I'm sure maybe some people, give backlash, and, I guess it's different stroke for different folks. However,
I know a couple of people who've been married, more than once, and it's almost, especially it depends on the age you are, because I find that older women are a little more embarrassed about it.
Really?
Yeah, than the younger generation. I've met some young ones that have been married at least 2 or 3 times, and I know a couple of older ones who've been married, a few times or more, and it's almost like they pretend not to be embarrassed by it, but are.
It's just, I just don't think that it's, or should be considered something major, basically, because you were in it and you know why you got out of it. However, so don't judge. Please don't judge.
We won't judge you if you don't judge us.
True.
So, yeah. Well, for me, I never remarried. And I would like to. I hear a lot of people asking me, do I ever want to get married again? And though it's been 17 years that I've been divorced, I've always believed that I'm a wife and not a girlfriend.
Yes.
And knowing that my status is a queen, I just refuse to settle for anything less than that. So I don't know what ladies think today. Not every woman wants to be married. A lot of women enjoy their singlehood. I'm just not one of those. I enjoy being in a relationship. I like monogamy, and I like being able to ride or die for one person.
I do.
They say ride or die, right? Do we really ride or die?
No, if we did, we would not be divorced. So, I think at the end of the day, marriage is pretty much what you make it. Unfortunately, we do get divorced, which, is not a good thing. I guess if you have kids, However, I just feel like you still should try to be cordial with one another, right? For the sake of the kids, if you have kids together. What do you think?
I think it works. I mean, my oldest son is actually by a guy I dated in college, and we have what I call the perfect broken family because, she and I his other mom and I are really close. His dad and I, we're really close, and his children are my children, and so their children are my children. And I think it's very healthy for the children. Would women do that? We had that conversation too.
Right.
Remember, we had a friend over. We had that conversation.
Right.
Whether or not, would you allow your exes to come in your home? Would you allow your spouse's exes to come in the home?
If you have kids together.
If you have children
kids
together. Even if, you guys just decided to be friends, can your ex be friends with can your boyfriend or your girlfriend be friends with the ex?
I think you should.
Right?
I think it should. I think
even if you don't have children.
Right. Okay. No. Let me say this. Okay. So I see how your ex, his wife, how you guys communicate, right?
We used to party together.
Well, I'm just saying, far as like as mothers, like you keep her son that's not your son. And even with your son, like when they were growing up, I think it's healthy though. I just don't understand how women could be so angry because you went through a divorce, and how you can't be friends with, if you both have kids together and you're raising kids, to be so bitter that you choose not to be able to get along because of the sake of the kids. I mean, I just don't understand that.
There's a lot of situations and issues when it comes to marriage, and blended families are very difficult. And I believe, exes tell the new person exactly what they need them to know, or even lies that may not even necessarily be true.
Why do you feel like they're difficult? I mean, why do you think that they are difficult, or do you think that they're difficult?
Blended families?
Right, yeah.
I think they can be. I don't think they have to be, though. I believe, as far as I'm concerned, speaking my truth, when I'm out, I'm out. When I'm done, I'm done. And when it's over, it's over.
Right.
So I don't want the man back. I don't want him to want me. I'm not wishing bad on him. I am hoping and praying that he gets everything his heart desires, and that's where real healing is an individual healing for self. So I act a little bit differently from what I normally hear about with my oldest son's father. Yes, and yes, I am a mother. I have 4 children. I have 2 children's fathers. And the oldest son's father, he and I get along great. He started dating his wife, when my son was tiny, and my son has been calling her mom for a long time. And I feel like she's a bonus mom. I don't feel like she's a stepmom. She's always been really good to my son. She's always been a wonderful woman towards me. She never got into our business. When we had a conversation, we had a conversation.
So then I think it's an individual woman thing then,
I think so. I believe so. She and I partied together. We worship together. I go to their church. They came over to mine, and we love God, and I think it makes a difference.
Oh.
I think it makes a big difference when you really have God, as the focal point, as opposed to how you feel things should have been.
I got you. I understand that.
Because everything is messed up today anyway. There's so many things that are horrible. Why make the relationships of your children's, parents horrible as well?
Right, you shouldn't, but some people are bitter, I guess, and when you bitter, you take it out on the person, not even realizing that children even exist. You choose to just be bitter.
It's about your feelings.
Right.
It's not about the children's
feelings. It's not at all.
Because that's real sacrifice. That's when real sacrifice happens.
Right, and a lot of times we don't want to sacrifice because it has to be all about me and the breakup. Not about the kids that's in between the breakup and what's best for them being able to, and I think it's how it happens. Like, how did the breakup happen? Did you cheat on me? Did you hurt me?
Are you with the woman you cheated on me with?
Right, and they're over my kids, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I think that makes a difference.
Did you take my kids around her too soon? Or around him too soon?
Ooh,
You know,
yes.
Did things happen too fast for me to be able to collect myself?
Because that makes a difference. I think it makes a world of a difference of how you feel and how you react towards that man or that woman when the divorce takes place, and then the kids are now left just hanging on the line.
Well, we would really like to hear your opinion on that as well. We would like for you to make some comments. Let us know, some reasons or some of the dynamics behind why someone would not want the children around. And we're not speaking on those things that are exceptions, like the person was abusive or the person, we're strictly speaking on when someone hurts your feelings or if
just a natural breakup, like I just choose to divorce.
Breakup. How do you feel blended families should be handled? We're not telling you what to think or how to think it. It's just what we think, And we could be wrong. Like I said, we don't have an education in sociology, psychology. We just have a degree in life. Yeah. That's really it. And it's my truth. I am Truth 101.
Okay, so let me ask. So, what do you want to talk about on the next?
Well, you guys, we would really like to hear your opinion, our YouTube crew, on what we should talk about next. However, we're just going to let it flow. One thing we talked about was we didn't want this to be forced. We just want to talk to you all and just let you know our truths and how we have experienced life. That's it.
I want to talk about being single and dating in 2019,
2020.
soon to be 2020. Being single, dating in the Atlanta.
Internet dating.
Oh, internet. Girl.
Okay. Wait a minute. Chat line dating. Where the blind date thing.
Oh,
you've never seen it before.
Okay,
oh
so
my gosh, something.
I really want to share my experience.
Next time. You have to tune to the next.
Oh my